1980, Alberto Salazar had the audacity to say that he would finish first out of 14,000 in less than 2:10. I asked him about that race.
I was surprised at how easy it felt. I had heard so much of the mythical marathon and the 20-mile wall and everything, and yet I just stayed with the leaders there, kind of scared the whole way about what was going to happen later in the race, and all of a sudden I found myself at the 20-mile point and feeling very fresh, and with only one other runner there, Rodolfo Gomez from Mexico. And at that point, or within a mile or so, I started to pull away, and from there I just coasted to the finish, and I was surprised at having won that easily in that fast a time.
After that, he took another year to prepare, then predict not only victory, but a world record.
See, the second marathon, I remember being nervous throughout the race, being worried that I might slip off record pace. I had made that prediction, and I felt the pressure of it during the race. Felt like the pace was pretty fast, but yet we were still a little bit off record pace through the first 10 miles or so. So I was a little bit worried, and then at about the 17-mile point, I think I overreacted to that feeling of being nervous about the pace and started to run a bit too fast. Last 6 miles, I just remember feeling that I had the race under control and that I was going to get the record, and I could just, in fact, actually slow down a little and maintain that good feeling and be sure of finishing in the record time.
New fields to conquer. Boston, the daddy of all marathons. His recollections?
On race day, the heat came up, and it was about a 70-degree day, and I was worried about Beardsley, I guess, because I knew he'd been trained down in Atlanta, and I knew that the heat just wasn't going to affect him as much as it was us. And in the race, I remember just never feeling that good during the entire race, and with about 7 miles to go, really hurting, and just trying to hang on to Beardsley as long as I could. And finally, as we got closer and closer to the finish line, realizing that, you know, the further we got into the race, the more chance I had of winning because I could outsprint him at the end.
Lifetime record, 3 marathons, 3 victories. What about a prediction for the 1982 New York City Marathon?
It's always hard to predict beforehand in terms of either time or how the other runners are going to run. I just feel that I'm in good condition, and I'm definitely in shape to run under 2:09, and I think if pressed, I'm in good enough shape to beat my time from last year. As to what will actually happen will mostly depend on how the other runners run.
So your prediction is not quite as specific as it's been the past 2 years.
Right. I'd say that my main priority this year is just to come in here and win. Last year, I had the priority of breaking the world's record as well as winning. This year, I've got a slight foot problem, which I anticipate probably shouldn't bother me too much, but I don't want to take any chances with it. So I'd rather just try for the win rather than try and go at too hard a pace at some time during the race and risk the foot going out on me.